Hi everyone, I'm Emily, and in this video I will go through a detailed breakdown of how I manage my $100,000 using the Wealthsimple platform. Wealthsimple is a Canadian investment firm founded in 2014 and headquartered in Toronto. They are well known for their easy-to-use, commission-free DIY trading platforms and currently have over 50 billion assets under administration. I am a huge fan of Wealthsimple and really love their overarching mission to help Canadians achieve financial freedom. With record cost of living and stagnant salaries, we definitely need it. However, I am in no way affiliated with Wealthsimple beyond being a happy client. And before we jump into it, I am not a professional financial advisor, and this is not professional financial advice. You'll notice I never say you should invest in this or you should also do this, as I'm simply showing what I do, and you can take as much or as little away as you want. I believe we should talk more about money, and I'd love to do my part in enhancing financial literacy by showing what I've learned and what I've applied. If you are looking for professional financial advice though, always seek out a certified financial planner or CFP. Now let's get into it. Alright, so this is my Wealthsimple account, and you'll see I have just over $130,000 in assets. And this money is spread across 5 different types of accounts. The first is the checking account, the second is the TFSA, the third is the RRSP, the fourth is the non-registered, and the fifth is the crypto. And in my checking account, I have $40,000 total. My TFSA, I have $42,000. In my RRSP, I have $38,000. In my non-registered, I have $11,000. And in my crypto, I have almost $2,000. So starting with the checking accounts, this used to be called the Wealthsimple Cash account. They've since rebranded it, and they've allowed you to open multiple accounts so you can actually separate your cash according to the specific purpose. You'll see I have 3 accounts in total. I have a checking account where I get paid and where I spend some money. I have a 10K fund for my emergency fund, and I have a freedom fund for my FU money. And here's an example of the inside of my checking account. So you'll see I earn 2.75% interest, which is slightly higher because I am a premium client and I do deposit my paycheck to Wealthsimple. I also get 1% cash back if I do spend using the Wealthsimple MasterCard, which I do occasionally. And you'll also see some activity for transfer outs. So I do use this account to fund my investment accounts. So when I do set up my reoccurring investments, the money is directly withdrawn from my checking account and then deposited into my TFSA or my RRSP and directly invested in whatever ETF I chose. And for an account like my 10K fund, which is purely for emergencies, you'll see I have no other activity other than earning interest and getting that interest paid out monthly. So now let's go over my TFSA. TFSA stands for Tax-Free Savings Account, and this was the first account I opened with Wealthsimple when I started in 2021. So this account has seen the highs and lows of my investment journey, starting out as someone who just graduated and really didn't know what she was doing, up until now when I've amassed more knowledge and I'm quite an intermediate investor now. So I have $42,000 in this account, and I have it invested across individual stocks as well as ETFs. And so you'll definitely see some rough times here. For example, this AGN pick is literally a penny stock and it's a biotech company. And I didn't even want to invest in it, but a relative was like, you should invest in it, which is obviously a mistake. Don't listen to others, do your own research. You also see some tech stocks like BlackBerry, which I'm also down in. And my worst investment of all time was this stock called Good Food Market, ticker FOOD. This is a food delivery service similar to HelloFresh, but it's Canadian, and I used to purchase it during COVID and cook with it. So I invested in it, and you can see I'm down literally almost $4,000, which is very rough. It's my worst investment of all time. And now I'm at a point where even if I sell it, like, it doesn't even make much point to have just that $100 back, so I might as well keep it and wait for a miracle, but that miracle probably won't come. So you gotta take the L's in order to learn, so that was definitely an L of mine. Now I try to stick to more steady stocks, so you'll see some of big bank stocks here. I have Bank of Nova Scotia, which is a Canadian dividend aristocrat and obviously one of the big 5 banks. I keep the stock here to collect the steady dividends, and when I do have a large capital gain, I will sell it off. You'll also see I have TD here, so similar strategy, and with TD I actually do have a pretty good capital gain of 9% here, so I am considering selling and repurchasing later on. But you'll also see I have some ETFs. I have some Harvest ETFs, which pay dividends monthly. I really like these ETFs because they're also diversified. I have the healthcare one, the diversified equity one, and the tech achievers one. And I'm also down on some stocks like Lightspeed Commerce, which is a Canadian tech company, and TELUS, which is telecoms. And then you'll see here, this is when I launched my ETF strategy, which is the dominant strategy I've been sticking to. I have a variety of strong ETFs investing in the S&P 500, the US total market, FTSE Global All Cap X Canada, Canadian markets, XEQT, which is globally diversified, ZBOL, which is balanced, XIC, which is Canadian market again. Most of these ETFs also pay dividends, and most importantly, they track global indices for steady long-term growth. And things are looking a little rocky now. If I had filmed this beginning of this year, you would have seen a sea of green. But following the major market dip in March, things are just starting to recover at the time of filming in May. And so you'll see I still am down on some ETFs, whereas I'm up on others. But no worries here, long-term investor, it'll be fine. And for my TFSA, I use reoccurring contributions. So as I mentioned, I transfer money out of my checking account and into my investment accounts to buy ETFs. And ETFs such as XEQT, HTA, the ETFs you see here. And so far, I've already contributed over $6,000 to my TFSA in this year, and I'll be maxing out the full $7,000 by the end of May. All right, so now RRSP time. RRSP is my retirement savings account, and I used to have my first RRSP with my previous employer, and then I transferred it to Wealthsimple when I quit my job last year in 2024. And I started with a very dominant ETF strategy, which I've kept until now. I literally only have one individual stock here, which is Bank of Nova Scotia, stable stock, big bank, dividend aristocrat, etc. But everything else is an ETF here. And since I started in 2024, I had a huge run last year. It was wonderful. But then since the market crash earlier this year, things are a little bit rocky here. You'll see I'm down on some ETFs, whereas I'm starting to recover back into green on most of them. And of these ETFs, I have the Global X High Interest Savings ETF, which is cash. I have my Harvest Tech Achievers Growth and Income ETF. I have my S&P 500 ETF, VIU, which is Developed All Cap X North America, US Total Market ETF, Global All Cap X Canada, XEQT, the iShares Core Equity, XIC, which is the Canadian market, and ZBOL, which is a BMO balanced ETF. So you'll see there's a lot of overlap between my ETFs and my TFSA and RSP, which is intentional because these are my ETF picks. I may look to diversify more later on, since obviously the RSP is more long-term than the TFSA, but for now I'm happy having that overlap here. And before in 2024, I used to dollar cost average through having those reoccurring investments from my checking account. But this year, I actually have a huge life announcement in that I've quit a second job. And so for the next few months, I will have no income coming in. And so I do need to keep my money in cash. So I don't plan on maxing out my RSP this year in 2025. I have made some lump sum contributions totaling to $4,000 so far, but I don't plan on having some contributions in the near future. I need to keep my money in cash. So I'm just gonna stagnate it for now, keep my money invested here, and we will keep seeing. When I do get dividends paid out, I will reinvest it, but for now, no new contributions, just keeping it as is. And now we do get into non-registered territory. And so I opened this account late 2024 because I had maxed out my registered accounts. And of this account, now I have almost $11,000, and I have dollar cost averaged into some of my favorite ETFs, Harvest Tech Achievers, US Total Market Index, VXC, and the BMO Balanced ETF. And as I mentioned, I invested starting late last year when the market was high. And so now you'll see that I am down a little bit on each ETF, but I'm not concerned. As a long-term investor, it'll be fine. And so far this year, I've paused contributions since, as I mentioned, I have no more income. So I'm not investing anymore in non-registered accounts, especially when my registered accounts aren't all maxed out yet. So I'm just gonna keep it here. It will do what it does, hopefully recover soon. And last but not least, I have my crypto account with Wealthsimple, and I have $2,000 in book costs currently. At any given time, I only have $1,000 to $3,000 invested in this account. For me, I'm not sure about the future of crypto. I'm not super knowledgeable on this, but I do have some risk tolerance to invest some money here and take just control of the high volatility, just be okay with that and see what happens. And so my $2,000 is all invested in Bitcoin at the moment. I only invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't invest in any of the smaller coins. And of the $2,000, right now I have $1,909 in value. So I'm down about $90, which is perfectly fine. And anytime I do have a larger capital gain, so let's say I made like $500, I will sell off and realize that capital gain and then reinvest at a later point in time. This account, obviously I don't have that much money in here, and it's more of like a just risk volatility account. Like I don't rely on this account to make millions of dollars or anything. Just invest some money to see how the future of cryptocurrency goes. And there you have it. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know in the comments below if you would like to see more related content. Also, if you're in your 20s and just started your first job, you can check out my video on the 5 steps that I followed to get to where I am today financially. Cheers to wealth and wellness, and please take care.